Hey everybody, I wanted to talk to you today about saving a lawnmower from the trash dump or being discarded because it was smoking. This is my experience with this mower. The engine actually came off of another mower. It was on a yard machines mower, and the deck was shot. What happens on a lot of these mowers with the plastic front is the axle wears out, and it's difficult to replace. I mean, you can replace them, but I really just wanted to get the engine because I knew I had another good deck that I wouldn't have to repair, and that's this one. So this is a Briggs and Stratton 190cc engine. This is what they call the quantum engine, with the carburetor right behind this, what they call the air box. This is the plate that goes over the carburetor. And what happened with this mower is it had compression. The engine had compression, so I thought I could save it. And so I put it on this deck, and it has the self-priming feature, so you don't have to push a rubber bulb here, which is on the other kind, to prime it. This one has a linkage from the exhaust that keeps the mower choked when you first start it, and then as it heats up, then it opens, and that's how you're able to start this without priming it. But anyway, back to the story. This mower started up fine, and it ran for a while, and I thought, oh great, I've got me a mower that cost me nothing because it was given to me for free because the deck was so bad. And but then after about, I'd say 5 minutes or so, it started smoking a little out of the carburetor, and I said, well, that's not good. But then it got worse until finally I had a lot of smoke blowing out of the carburetor, quite a bit of it. And then the mower started slowing down, and it got really sluggish. It wouldn't run right, and all this smoke was just pouring out of it. So I shut it off. And then I looked here, and that's the purpose of this video. I still have a little bit of it here, even though I've solved the problem. That little thing right there is some gray sludge that's a combination of oil and water. And what had happened to this engine is and I've run into this a bunch of times, someone had left it outside, probably one of their kids got into it or something and left the dipstick out. And so, this thing's open out in the weather and it rains, you're going to get water on the inside of your mower, and it's going to fill up that crankcase. And the mower had sat for a long time before I ever got it from the guy that gave it to me. And when I checked the oil, it looked okay, but that's because what happens is the oil separates back into its original state. And so what I was seeing was just the oil. The water was probably further down, and I wasn't seeing it on the dipstick. But and so I thought everything was fine. But then once I ran it, of course, the mower then is throwing oil all over the place, and it gets agitated. And then what causes the smoking, I'm convinced, is because it gets to its operating temperature, and the water then starts to boil. And so basically you're throwing it, you're building up pressure, and you're letting off steam. So a combination of steam and oil then begins to come out of this mower. And so you got to shut it down, which is what I did when I thought, okay, this might be a water in the crankcase problem. So I shut her down, and I drained all the sludge out, and it looks like a gray, kind of grayish mud. And if you ever have that come out of your crankcase, that means that your mower has somehow gotten water into the crankcase. You've got to get all that out of there. So drain it all out. And for me, what I do when I work on mowers all the time, I've got some kerosene down here, and I'll put about a cup in the crankcase and just run that through and let it drain out too. Do that a couple of times, and then I'll shake the mower a little bit, move it back and forth, put another cup in there, let that run through until you get most of that sludge out of there, and then refill it with some good oil, or just oil that doesn't have any water in it, and then try it. And in this case, that was it. This mower runs fine now, even though it had quite a bit of water in it. And these Briggs and Stratton engines are so tough, especially these quantum engines, that you can do that. You can bring these things back from the dead if you've gotten water in them, as long as you get that out of there, and it still has compression. It hasn't blown the head gasket or anything. Get that water out of there and put you some good oil in it, and this mower will come back to life. And that's what happened with this one. This mower runs great now. No smoking, no nothing. Runs smooth and quiet.